here's just a bit of a taster of what the quad is like and what is to come in this video. This thing is insane. I can't even believe how good this is. It literally fits in the palm of my hand, yet it's behaving like a full-size racing quad. Anyway, let's get on with the video.
Hello, thanks for stopping by. Today you may have noticed that I've moved house and haven't actually finished decorating yet. I thought it was more important to get my quads on the wall than actually finish doing this. I don't even have internet yet, so I'm going to have to upload this at the library, but I'm really excited. Today on the shelf we have the XJB 80, which on paper this thing is a beast. It's got an insane ESC all-in-one, it's got a 200 milliwatt output for the video, it's got an on-screen display, it just looks absolutely phenomenal, and I really can't wait to test this out. This could be an absolute contender for the Eachine Aurora 90 and the new 68 version which has just come out, because this has got a lot better specs. It's definitely heavily upgraded, and yeah, I think this could blow the other ones, things like the Chaser 88 and the Auroras, out of the water, because this is brilliant. Now this is from HGL Tech, and they've actually sent me the instructions for the 75mm version, so I'm not sure what the difference is going to be setting these up, but the 75mm version wasn't as spec'd out as this one, and it wasn't that fantastic, to be honest, but hopefully this one's going to do really well. I'm so excited to test this out because this should perform brilliantly, but we'll obviously go ahead and see if it does. So anyway, let's stick it on the bench and take a look. So this is everything we get in the box. We have our 5-blade 50mm propellers. Now I would be tempted to maybe swap these out for a 4-blade or a 3-blade, something like the King Kong 90 GT propellers. But I'll have to test these out and see what they're like. That just might be my gut instinct, because I'm not used to, and I don't tend to use these 5-bladed ones. We've also got some screws to attach them onto the motors. We've also got what looks like a 90-degree sort of little bit of an extension for the USB port, so you can plug that in and then hook it up to our computer a little bit easier. And of course, this comes with a battery, which is HDL Tech branded. This is 3S 550 milliamp hour. Finally, it comes with a 3S 550 milliamp hour battery. This is HDL Tech branded, and it's got the little JST connector on there as well as the balance plug, which is nice to see because sometimes we've got quads like this that are powered like the 90 GT through the balance plug. So it's nice to see that we've got the JST on there, and we will be using that on the quad itself. So taking a look at the quad itself, you'll notice that we've got these propellers already built in. This came shipped like this. Look like they could be 3D printed of PLA or something, and they feel really rigid, which is possibly a good sign, but you know, with problems I've had in the past with really rigid ones, there's been that they tend to snap at weak points, such as here where we've got the connecting arms. That happened on my King Kong 90. Sorry, that happened on my King Kong 70mm Tiny 7, and yeah, I'm worried it might happen here because I like to have a little bit of give in it so that it can just bounce off things, but this looks like it's ridiculously rigid. So you'll notice the carbon fiber frame looks very much like the Eachine Aurora. We've got this carbon sort of top plate up here with the two circles, and that's connected by a little standoff here, which is basically connecting these two pieces so that they're nice and rigid, and if we get a crash, this antenna here is not going to be damaged, hopefully, because that is nice and protected. 360-degree protection, as opposed to having just the little strap over there that the Chaser 88 does. This is hopefully going to protect our antenna perfectly, and we're not going to break anything with this. Just underneath that, you'll see we've got this buzzer, which is actually a buzzer and a loud alarm, and then we've got two LEDs on there, which is a nice function to have, especially the buzzer as well, because this little rocket could go flying away, but hopefully that loud buzzer will stop us losing it completely. You'll notice underneath here we've got the FR Sky receiver. You can also get this with DSM2, I believe, and FL Sky as well if you want. Or, of course, you can just get it plug and play and put your own one in there if you'd like. The camera on top here is a 600 TVL camera with a built-in video transmitter. A little bit rated less than the Chaser and Aurora, the TVL rating on there. So hopefully it should still be good. It should still produce some nice images. And we've also got an on-screen display on there, like we have with the Aurora. So that's going to give us a lot of details about our flight, which is a nice touch, I think. It's always good to have an on-screen display on mini quads like this. It's just a nice feature. The video transmitter, like I mentioned, is actually 25, 50 and 200 milliwatts, so that is a lot better than the Eachine Aurora straight away, because that only powers at 25 milliwatts. So for all you Americans out there who are used to 200 or above, then this is surely going to be enough power for you, definitely around the house, even more so if you take this out, take it into a field. You're going to have some great power with this, and hopefully shouldn't be getting any static on there for at least a couple of 100 meters or so, if this is truly a good antenna. So taking a look at the stack underneath, you'll notice we've got our 4-in-1 ESC on the bottom here. This is 25 amps it's rated at, so this is an absolute beast. It's going to be able to take 2 to 4S hopefully, and this is going to be absolutely fantastic. It's going to provide us a lot of power. Unfortunately, it doesn't support D-Shot 600 like the Eachine Aurora did, which is a little bit annoying, especially for you hardcore fans out there. You might want something with a bit more compatibility than this, but nevertheless, 25 amp 4-in-1 ESC is probably the biggest I've seen so far on a quad of this size, and I'm really looking forward to more taking up this ESC or even higher values ones, so we can really rip those higher S rated batteries. Underneath there, we've also got the power distribution board and built-in flight controller, which is a Betaflight flashed F3 controller, so we can plug that and change everything on Betaflight straight away. That's flashed, there's no need to change anything on there, so that is a good touch. Taking a look at the motors, we've got these awesome purple HDL Tech branded motors, and these are 7,500 kV rating, so hopefully these should provide enough power, a bit of enough torque for this, so I'm really looking forward to testing these motors out. Could be a possibility to also use these on your own build, but as of yet I'm not sure if Banggood stock them individually as motors. Going on to the bottom here, you'll notice we've got the HDL branded carbon, and also we've got a little bit of Velcro on here so that we can attach our battery, so we've got our battery strap under there, so that's going to sit nice and firm underneath there like that. We've also got the JST plug, as I mentioned earlier, and it looks, for the moment, apart from possibly this little antenna, which I might have to tape up, it looks like nothing should get caught in the props. Everything's sort of clamped down pretty well, or tucked out of the way, so it doesn't look like this should be taking any damage at all, because this is just really good. It's very compact, very neat, the wiring's amazing, everything, pretty much every single piece of this is covered that would normally get damaged, such as the even the camera lens, the camera antenna, and also obviously the motors. You can choose to take the prop guards off if you wish. You can unscrew these here. They go underneath the carbon fiber and sandwich in the motors as well, but you can choose to take them off. I'll probably keep them on, especially for flying indoors, because this thing is a bit of a powerhouse and I don't want to go ripping it and slashing into my new walls or new wallpaper. So anyway, that's a quick overview of this, a little bit of a comparison as well to the Eachine Aurora, and yeah, this completely blows it out of the water at the moment with these specs, so hopefully this is going to perform really well. We'll go ahead and set this up in Betaflight, do a flight test of this, see what the on-screen display is like, see what the battery's like, and see how this thing handles a 3S and maybe even a 4S. However, I'm a bit unsure. I do not know if these motors will actually be able to take a 4S battery, while the ESC certainly can. Yeah, I'm sort of worried about these motors. I think they probably would have stocked a 4S battery as well with it if these could handle it. So do be careful if you're going to put 4S on this. Check that these motors can handle it, because I'm a bit skeptical that they might burn out. Anyway guys, let's go take a quick flight and see how this handles.
So just a few notes about setting up, because this did take me a couple of minutes. On the FR Sky, if you've got the FR Sky S-Bus receiver transmitter, like I have, just open UART3 and then there's a bind button on that as well, so it's nice and easy to connect with. I did actually have to end up reflashing the firmware on the FC, so if you do that, if you end up in that predicament, then you need to use the Pico BLX firmware, and if you do reflash, you will also need to reassign the motors in Betaflight. If you don't know how to do this, leave a comment and I'll tell you how, unless it doesn't state so when you get the package. Sometimes there's a little instruction manual for doing that, but there wasn't one with mine. So if you need help with that, leave a comment and I'm going to show you how to do that now. Also, don't forget to set the yaw direction to -45 degrees, so the drone is facing in the right direction compared to the flight controller. And then also you might want to set your motor direction if they're not already correct, because mine weren't. To do this, just jump over into BL Heli. I'm using macOS, so I've got the Chrome version of this. It's pretty easy. Just launch it and then go ahead, connect that up, and then just select reverse motor direction on the two motors that you need reversing. Anyway, let's jump into the flight footage. So here's some flight footage, a really nice sunny day, which is good for testing this camera. As you'll be able to see, it performs really, really nice. The images are nice and crisp. Obviously, it's not HD, but for something like this, I think it was 700 TVL. This is as to be expected, if not a little bit better. Now, I'm running this on 200 milliwatts, and any of you who've watched me before in this place have seen that 25 milliwatts really struggles at these distances I'm going out, but 200 is absolutely killing it. I've not seen one bit of black screen so far, or at least I didn't when I was recording. I might have just slipped my memory. But yeah, I didn't see one bit of black screen on the goggles, so the interference on this is very negligible at 200 milliwatts. This is absolutely killing it. I've got to say, the range on this is fantastic. I really was going out quite far and wasn't getting any static or any interference with anything else at all. You'll be able to see I'm doing quite a few little flips and stuff. I did actually bomb out quite hard, as you'll be able to see here, and this is what happened to my quad. All of the white sort of prop guards came off, which I thought might happen because they were very, very rigid, and I thought they'd probably just snap off at the first crash. And also the props have snapped off as well. You'll notice that I'm actually swapping out, I've swapped out for the King Kong 90 GT props that I got because I had a lot of spares of those, because these just crashed when I was, the original props just snapped when I crashed for the first time, which was a bit annoying, especially because they didn't come with any spares. But these tri-blade ones from the 90 GT work well. I'd probably suggest getting maybe a slightly bit bigger because these tri-blades were a tiny bit too small, or maybe getting a 4-blade version instead. But still absolutely great. So this is with the stock PIDs, and you'll be able to see there's quite a little bit of wobble when I perform some maneuvers, so this is going to need a bit of tinkering out of the box, but it's still good enough to go out and fly and rip around your local park or something. This 3S battery was really good and providing a lot of power when you do things like loops and stuff. You can really whack it up to full throttle straight away and hover away from the ground quite fast. It lasted probably, I'd say, about 6 minutes ragging this around, which is decent for a 3S, especially of this size. The motors are handling well. They're absolutely screaming when I was going full throttle. This thing is seriously loud. I'd probably say it's a little bit too aggressive to fly indoors, unless obviously you've got a big sort of American mansion house, which I see on a lot of quad videos. But yeah, my little 2-bedroom flat is far too small for handling this, so I'd suggest taking this outside. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. This was just a quick overview of this insane XJB 85mm, or 80, sorry, millimeter. This is easily the best sub 100mm I've ever flown, and yeah, it's just insane. I'd love to try this on 4S if you can handle it. If you have tried it out, leave it in the comments. Tell me what happened. Anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time. Peace out.